The government passes a bill in Parliament and says, we have a budget. And out of that budget, it tells the Bank of England it wants to spend. Then there is a person called the Auditor General who has the duty to check that it has been authorised. And so long as it's been authorised by the budget, the Bank of England must pay it. And it doesn't require there to be money in a bank account at the Bank of England. So unlike us, there is no such thing as an overdraft limit. There is no way in which the Bank of England can say no to us. They won't send us a letter saying your overdraft has reached its limit. You can't max out the credit card. You don't have to pay interest from the government to the Bank of England if you are overdrawn. They can create as much money as they like, because one of the definitions of the nation state is the capacity to create legal tender. In fact, it is one of the fundamental definitions of the nation state, is this capacity to create something called legal tender and call it money and require that it be used by then forcing people to pay it back to you in the form of taxation.
I want to take a moment for those that are interested in the Scottish perspective of what Richard has just said here. And it is important for those Scots and honorary Scots who are interested in seeing the resumption of full self-determination in Scotland to take note of the history of what we've lost and what was our rights. Now, he says one of the definitions of the nation state is the capacity to create legal tender. One of the fundamental definitions of the nation state is this capacity to create something called legal tender and call it money. Now, we have from the Dublin Weekly Nation for Saturday the 23rd of July 1853, published in the Treaty of Union Articles 2019 in the chapter Scotland wasn't conquered, ceded or occupied by England. It stated, "Here are the provisions of the treaty which were designed to preserve the self-control of the Scottish nation from the centralising propensities of England, one of which is, by the 16th article, it is provided that the coin shall be continued in Scotland under the same rules as the mint in England." From the Dundee People's Journal for Saturday the 5th of April 1884, from the same publication, chapter entitled Articles 1875 to 1900, it asks, "Where are the rights and privileges conferred upon us by the Treaty of Union? It seems to me that they have taken wings and flown away. Where is our national mint?" From the Cork Examiner for Monday the 25th of July 1853, from the same publication, chapter entitled Formation of the National Association for the Vindication of Scottish Rights, it states, "In violation of the Treaty of Union, our Court of Exchequer, Court of Admiralty, and Mint have been abolished, and our arms degraded." From the more recent publication, published, I think, in the 1970s, entitled Scotland's Scrap of Paper, it states, "Scottish nationalists should familiarise themselves with the different ways in which the Treaty of Union with England of 1707 has been broken. They should demand a separate mint, coinage, and postage stamps for Scotland." We shouldn't need to demand these things. These things were conferred upon us by right of the Treaty of Union. They were secured to us. We were to keep our mint. We were to keep our post office. We no longer have those assets, and Anglo-centralisation has a lot to answer for with the myriad negative impacts it's had on Scotland since the Union.
Now, taxation only exists fundamentally at its core to recover the money the government has spent so that inflation does not result.